Ois base. V'hinei Yisrael olu b'machshava hanal. Yidden went up in that higher level. We talked about there's a maila, there's an advantage in the level of machshava, which is by the Eberster. Over there is loy machshavosai machshavoseichem, meaning that it's a different kind. It's a level of real yesh. Yidden go up to that higher level, to that level of machshava. V'hu anikra machshava hakaduma. And that is what is called the earlier machshava. As the saying of our sages of blessed memory in Breishis Rabbah, Perek Aleph. So over there it says, Machshavtom shel Yisrael kodmo l'chulom. It talks about the various different things that have come before the world, but the machshava of the Yidden, the machshava to create Yidden, about Yisrael, that comes first. That's kodmo l'chulom. That comes before anything. So he's going to explain now what is this idea that the Yidden come first. The ultimate goal is that Yidden should do Torah mitzvahs in this world to bring about a dira b'tachtonim, to bring about the Eibishter into this world. That's the ultimate goal. And that's the machshava hakadum. Inyan, kitachlis habriya v'haTorah v'hamitzvahs. The goal of creation and Torah mitzvahs uliyos loy yisbarich dira b'tachtonim, is that for him, for Hashem, there shall be a dira below in this world. The hainu sheyiyah gilui oire sobaruchu lamata daike, so that there shall be a revelation of the blessed Ein Sof specifically below. Yeah, Hashem is in the worlds above, but the purpose is to bring down, and that there should be a gilu lamato over here, specifically in this world. It's below,
No, everything fine.
Yeah, beloy bishvil hagilui ba'atzilus. This is not because of the revelation that's in Atzilus. We don't need a revelation in Atzilus through a Yid. We need the revelation in this world through a Yid. Not because of Atzilus it's needed. Because in Atzilus, in either event, is Ihu v'gamoy Chad, which is Bechinas Bittel. Over there, it's already a level of Bittel. However, they are an entity and something separate. The world in of itself, the Biyah itself is separate, is not Bittel. And the Alidei, Torah, Mitzvahs, Mamshichim, B'hem Gamkein, Bechinas Dira. Through the level of Torah mitzvahs, we make for them, we draw down that they should also be a dwelling place. And that there should be resting the infinite oil, just like in Atzilus. This is the ultimate goal. The purpose of creation is to bring bittul into this world. This is like the idea of tzechoik osoli elikim. Tzechoik, meaning a tainug, a pleasure, comes from the shem elikim, which means through bringing down into the level of elikim and simtsum, to coming down into biyah, that brings the tainug, because that's the goal of bringing down lamata. B'dibar hamaskil shishim heima melochis b'inyan oir zoruach chulu v'ayim asher kosu b'biur aposik kasher hashomayim achadoshim with the Ramaschil Lohibit Oven Biyakid. So, how does this happen? How do we bring down the Dira, we bring down the Shechina, we bring down the Hashroah, that it should come down in Biyah? So how is this accomplished through our Torah mitzvahs? Say that when we do Torah mitzvahs, that's the goal, and that's the way we bring down the Shechina and Biyah. How does this happen? The idea is like this. The 248 mitzvahs, say positive mitzvahs, the number of mitzvahs is 248. That corresponds to the 248 limbs of the king. Each mitzvah is a limb, is an aver of the king. So what does it mean it's a limb? Pirush evorim. What does it mean that a mitzvah is a limb? A mitzvah is a limb means a mitzvah is mamshich, an oir, just like a limb is mamshich, an energy from the nefesh. A mitzvah is mamshich, the light from the Ein Sof. Pirush evorim. What does it mean evorim? I know k'boyal derech moshul al yidei ha'ever nimshach u'mizgale oir v'chayis manefesh. Just by way of example, through the limb, it extends and is revealed the light and the energy of the soul. How so? So you have the power of seeing in the eye and etc. and the ear hears. So which means if you have an eye, the eye will draw down the neshama's energy so that you can see. And the same thing is with the other limbs. Kach l'maylo, likewise above. Al yidei eser sfiras da atzilus, through the 10 sfiras of atzilus, nimshach u'mizgale oir ein sof baruch hu mamash. So that brings down, reveals the Ein Sof Baruch Hu through the 10 Sfiras of Atzilus. V'zehu inyan, ihu v'garmo yichad. And that's the idea of Hashem and His energy and the Kelim. The Oiris and the Kelim is one. That means you're Megale, the Ein Sof in Atzilus. That's why we say in Atzilus it's Him and the Oiris and the Kelim, the Chayoyi and the Garmoyi, they're all one. So really the level of Atzilus, the 10 spheres of Atzilus are really the 10 limbs, are really limbs of the king, because they bring down the Gilui of the Ein Sof in Atzilus to become Yivchei Echad. And that's the same thing with mitzvahs. And those are also the mitzvahs. Kitfilin, because the mitzvahs do the same thing, bringing down in the 10 spheres of Atzilus. Kitfilin, Heim, Ham Shochas, Oir Ein Sof, B'chochma, Bino Das Chulu. When you put on the tefillin, the mitzvah of tefillin is a limb. Say, for example, you will bring down the Ein Sof in the level of Chochmah Bin and Das of Atzilus Chulu. That's the limb that draws down the Ein Sof. Or when you do the mitzvah of tzedakah, Ugemilas Chasodim, charity and acts of kindness, which is Bichinas Chesed Chulu. That's the level of Chesed of Atzilus that brings down the level of Atzilus. So you have to figure out now, here we're talking about 10 spheres, and we're saying this is 248 limbs. How does 10 become 248? How does the 248, what's the cheshbon? If we're saying the 10 spheres, then we're 248, so he gives you the cheshbon now. The cheshbon Ramach, what's the calculation? How do you get it to be 248? Ramach Evorim Ramach mitzvah sasei. How do you get it to 248 limbs and the 248 mitzvah? And the lifi shezo hu bal tes sfiris. Generally, the Zeir Ampin, it includes of 9 spheres. The Zeir Ampin, 9 spheres, does not include the spheres Hamalchus. It includes all the spheres of Chochmah Bina Das, that's the Zeir, the small face. It has level of Zoh, has 9 spheres. Shezoh Bal Tes spheres. Zoh has 9 spheres. Alpha Shilu Parshas Yisrael. V'ayim bezoyar noyach daf samachay yomad aleph. Ubeitz Chaim shar arecham pin perik bein. What are the 9 spheres? Chabad, Chagas, Nehi. So you have 9. This 9, v'chol echod klula mites. The 9, each one of the 9 is included of other 9. So each one of the 9 spheres has all the other 9 spheres in it. So you had a test, bomim test. So you have 9 times 9. Oila pei aleph. That comes out 81. 91. 9 times 9 is 81. V'chol bechina, and each one of the 81 levels, yeshbo gimel kelim, has 3 vessels. So it's 3 times 81. Rosh Toich Shoim. The 3 kelim are the top and the middle and the end. So that's 3 times. So you have 3 times 81. Harei Reish Mem Gimel. So you have 200. 3 times 81 is 243. And then you have the Hei Chasodim HaMagdilim. And you have the 5 levels of chesed that increase the midas. So from this, the total is Harei Ramach. So it's 248. So the bottom line is there's 248 different levels. And those 248 different levels are the ones that bring down the oil into Atzilus. That brings the Tesfiris Atzilus into the into Atzilus, and then into the 248 mitzvahs, which are called the 248 limbs of the king. V'hine, inyan matan Torah, shehu hislabshus hamitzvahs elyonim ramach evorim de malcha. So what is the idea? That's matan Torah. The Eibishter gave the Torah, which means that the Eibishter, that shehu hislabshus hamitzvahs elyonim ramach evorim de malcha. That is the to dress up that the mitzvahs of above, just like we have 248 mitzvahs that bring down 248 level of hamshachas. Those hamshachas are bringing down from the limbs of the king into the limbs of Atzilus. Each mitzvah brings down that level of oil, that level of light. That's islapshus hamitzvahs el yonim ramach evorim the malka. So we take that 240 masha kodesh baruch hu maniach tefillin. That is the Eibishter puts on tefillin. Those are the limbs of above. And we put that down, the mitzvahs gashmis. And we make from this a physical mitzvah. The Eibishter does this mitzvah in maniach tefillin. And that means that it brings down into our physical mitzvah, the mitzvahs gashmi. We bring down tefillin beklaf. You bring down the tefillin, comes down in a parchment, udyoy, and with ink. B'tzemer b'tzitzis, b'tzitzis b'tzemer, and the tzitzis comes down in wool, The same thing as sukkah is physical, a lulav is physical, ushar kol mitzvahs, and all other mitzvahs. So this is bringing down the spiritual, anochas tefillin, the spiritual levels of the oir into the mitzvahs. I know that means shalidei kiyum ha-mitzvahs begashmis, through our fulfillment of the mitzvahs physically. Mamshichim oir ein sof baruch hu hamizgale b'ramach evorim the malko. So we bring down the ein sof, the light of the ein sof, that reveals itself in the 248 limbs of the king, which is in Atzilus. That's where the 248 limbs of the king come down. As we were mamshich them, those are the limbs of the king. So we take those 248 limbs of the king of Atzilus, that it should come down below mamish in Asiya. That in this world, we get those limbs. So what it means, hainu, which it means that aidei tefillin mamshichin b'chinas chacham. Through tefillin, we bring down the level of chacham. Aidei tzedakah, and through tzedakah, we bring down the level of b'chinas chesed. We bring down the level of chesed. We bring it all down into gashmis. Add to the extent it's brought down in a physical way, to the extent Sheyad ha'odom anoisen tzedakah, the hand of the person that gives tzedakah, tiya b'chinas keli legila l'kusi yisbarach. That should be a vessel for the blessed godliness of Hashem. Your hand, the physical hand, your limb, becomes a keli to the limb of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the limb of Atzilus. Just like Chesed of Atzilus is called the right hand, the Roya Yemina, the right hand in Atzilus, that is a Keli Legilu Eir Ein Sof. That becomes a vessel for the revelation of the Eir Ein Sof in that Keli, in that level of Chesed, in that Roya Yemina. That is where Hashem and the Kelim are one, because that is a Gilu Elokuseh. So Kach Mamash B'Biyah. So that should be Mamash and Biyah. That is actually in Biyah, that your hand, your physical hand, becomes the Keli to the Gilu of Eir Ein Sof. Zeu Inyan Dira B'Tachtonim. This is the Dira in the low Shenase Al Yidei Iyum HaTorah Mitzvahs. Those that dwelling place low that takes place through the fulfillment of Torah Mitzvahs. Sheheim Ramach Evorim the Malko Anikra Zo the Atzilus. Those are the 248 limbs of the king, which is Zohav, which is called Zod Atzilus. Shal Yidei Zeh Yumshach. Through the Torah mitzvahs, you draw down Gilui Zeh Shev Atzilus, Kambasi Yamam. You bring down that revelation of Atzilus, you bring down also into Asiya. So in Atzilus, you have the Gilui of the Ein Sof, and we're being mamshich. That Gilui of Atzilus should also come down in our physical world. Moshe Yedaber b'Parshas Yisrael, v'ayim Moshe Kosu b'Dibur HaMaschil v'hoyu lochem b'tzitzis b'Parshas Shlach v'Pirush u'Zachartem es kol mitzvahs chulu ayin shom. So that's the tachlis. The tachlis is that the Gilu, which is in Atzilus, come down in Biyah through the Evorim, through the mitzvahs, the Kelim that draw down the light. Eich yiyeh his kashrus ha'atzilus imasiya gashmis. But how could there be a connection, that tie, that his kashrus from Atzilus with the physical world? But there is no comparison. How could Atzilus come down to Asiya? There is no relationship with them. There is no connection between Atzilus and Asiya. How could the supreme level revelation of Atzilus come down through a physical act of the mitzvah? How does this happen? And the reason it happens is because the Yidden who come from a very high source, they come from the level of Machshaveh. And from their level, the higher and the lower are equal. Atzilus and Asiya, relative to Machshaveh, from where the Yidden come from, are the same level. The Yidden therefore have that ability to be mamshich from Atzilus into Asiya. What is the idea? Because Yidden, Yisrael, they went up into this earlier level of Machshava, which means they come from the level of Machshava. And because of that, Yisrael oisin ha-mitzvahs, when Yidden do the mitzvahs, heim mamshichim umekashrim ha'atzilus ha'ruchni b'asiyah ha'gashmis. They can draw down and they can connect, they can tie the spiritual Atzilus with the physical Asiya. Lefi shebechinas machshava hagaduma, because the level of machshava hagaduma umichinas soivev kolam, that comes from the level of soivev that surrounds all worlds. In that level of soivev kolam, the Atzilus v'Asiya shovin neged bechinazu. Atzilus and Asiya are equal next to the level, relative to the level of Sovev Kula Almin. Atzilus and Asiya are equal. He koleles kulam yachad. That includes them together. It includes Asiya and Atzilus together. Shehu b'chinas Odom Kadmen. That is the level of the earlier man, Shu Keser HaKloli, the Atzilus Dabya, which is the general Keser of Atzilus B'Ritzir. And because it's a crown that is general, that covers, that is a Keser over all of Atzilus B'Ritzir, it surrounds them together. Atzilus V'Asiya Shovim L'Gabei B'Chinazu. So that's why Atzilus and Asiya are equal relative to this level. And you are able, therefore, to be mamshich from Atzilus and Asiya. V'ayit mashir kosu v'zeh b'tibur hamaschil lam natzeach al hashminis chulu v'lochein, and because of that, yochel lekasher l'chaber ha'atzilus in Asiya. That's why a person, a Yisrael, who comes from Machshava, is able to tie and to connect the Atzilus in Atzilus in Asiya, although notwithstanding that they are very, very different from each other. They're rechoikim b'tachlis. We will understand this by way of an example by a person. We see by the light and the energy of the soul, which dresses up in the limbs of the body, that in every limb there is a specific, a detailed energy. So there is a energy which is specific for each limb, and then there is a general energy which everything is together. Say for the general, there's the koyach proti, as for example, kemoi, re'iyah, shmiya, to see, to hear, reach, to smell, tam, to taste, dibur, to speak. These are all separate individual koyches that come through specific limbs, through specific parts of the soul that come down in particulars, in very specific ways. All this, shekoyach hariyah, the power to see, is only in your eye. What do you see? You don't see with your ear, you see with your eye. The koyach hashmiya, the power to hear, is ba'ozel. And therefore, it is called echad, is madrega pratis. Each one has its individual madrega. Each one of us is an individual madrega. That is one level. Kol echad hu b'china madrega b'fnei atzma. Each one is its own level by itself. Aval machshava, but the level of machshava.
Yes.
Could continue?
Yeah. What's going on? Why you stop?
I thought I heard the phone ringing, huh? Okay, sorry.
No, nothing going on. I didn't tell you. Hold on, Rabbi. No.
Okay. Kol echad b'china u'madrega b'fnei atzma. Each one is a level and a step by itself. Avol ha'machshava hinei mekushorim v'achuzim bo kol ha'ivorim v'hakoyches shebohem. But when it comes to the level of machshava, to machshava, all the limbs and all the powers that is in the body, meharoish at tzipoin regel. Everything is tied to it, starting from the head until the nails of the feet. The tzipoin regel, the lowest part, is all felt. Shadei, how do we see this? Everything is tied in the level of machshava, it's all tied together. Shadei yargish b'machshavtei kol hanifal ramach ivorim. Because in your thought, a person will feel everything that happens in the 248 limbs. He feels it in his thought, he feels it right away. That's number one. So you see that everything is connected to the level of machshava. V'gam kol ha'ivorim detailim l'machshavtei v'imeshelas al kulam. Also, all the limbs are subjugated to the person's thought, to his thought, and it dominates them all. And also, v'gam hishoyde b'kulam makefes oishon. It also rests in in all of them, and it also surrounds them. The level of machshava is equally in everything. There is a specific koyach which only goes to the specific evorim, but the koyach of machshava, that ties to everything. Shaharei miyad kshe'oile b'machshavtei. As soon as it enters his thought to move his foot, toikef umiyad, immediately. Toikef umiyad, meaning immediately, right away, tisnaneya haregel, belishum shi'izman chulu, without any delay in time, his move his foot. That means that there is a direct connection from the machshava to the foot. It doesn't go through any inner specific, it doesn't go through any hishtalshlus, it comes straight to the machshava in a way of makah. Lahovim mipnei ma yom tov de Pesach ubiyom shnasa b'neis u'biyur al-posik vayikach kerach. So just like we had just explained the chilek between the koyach prati and the koyach that is surrounds, which is makiv, the same thing is now the two lights, the oir hamemalekul almin and the oir haseguk. Nim shal mizel lemailo. What is the example from this above? The ishtalshelus ha'oilomes abriya atzilus briya yitzir asiya. The evolution as the world comes down in the level of the four worlds, atzilus briya yitzir asiya, kol bechina uprat b'fnei atzmai. Each level is a detail in of itself. Balkain, and therefore, bein atzilus libriya yesh parsachulu. In between atzilus and briya, there is a curtain. Behu kemoshel, that's its own compartment. Kemoshel koyachariya ba'ayin. It's like, for example, the power that you have of vision in the eye. That's different than the power of walking in the foot. Two distinct areas. There's the power of seeing, which is in the eye, and there's walking in the foot. And there is separate. There is a atzilus, and there is bri yitzira. Gam yesh parsa mafsekes ben evrei haneshima leevrei hamosad. There is also a curtain that interrupts in between the breathing limbs, those that the person uses to breathe his lungs, to the limbs of the food, the hainu chotzer hakovet, that's the chotzer of the cover, the liver. There is this space that interrupts in between these two types of limbs. So there is partition, there is separation. But in the level of this earlier machshava, she includes the machshava, includes everybody together. And that's why the feet of Adam Kadmon, they come down all the ways in Asiya, and that curtain does not separate before them because that's soivev, that's the level of hak, that's keser, and therefore that can come down directly like the machshava we said before, which relates in a way of soivev to all the parts of the person. So it all comes down. So now Al-Kain, therefore, asked before, how could we bring down Atzilus into Asiya? How does a Yid do that to the Torah mitzvahs? He says because Valkein Neshamas Yisrael Sholba b'machshava zu, Yin that they came up with this machshava, Yesh lahem hakoyach the kasher u'lechaber ha'atzilus. They have the power to tie and to connect Atzilus with Asiya Yidei HaTorah u'mitzvahs, through the Torah and mitzvahs. Lahamshich Rinas Ramach Evorim de Malka Basiya Mamash Kinal, to bring down the 240 things of the king into Asiya. Vayim Hashakosu V'Aposik V'Yikoil Ma'al L'Rakia. That's why in all of the Torah it says, that means that it's all through the Yidden. The Yidden, why I say Dabra B'nei Yisrael, means that they are the ones that are mamshich, everything into the world is because they come from the level of Machshav Agdum. Shoyrish inyan hamevuar b'mokam achar b'dibur hamaschil zocher es yom haShabbos lekatshoy. From here, we'll understand the root of that, what is explained in elsewhere in the Mamer Zochar Zubakache. The Inyan, but there explains the idea of Zochar Vishomer, the Dibur Echad Nemru Chulu Ein Shom. And there, V'hainu al Yidei Gilui Bechinas Keser. That is through the revelation of the Keser. That's what it explains over there. Shubechinas Odom Kadmin. That it includes that includes the same idea we spoke over here, that the level of Odom Kadmin, that Keser, includes Atzilus and Asiya together now. And that Mamer Shebe Parsha Bereishis and Asher L'Shloim Chulu. Gam bedibur hamaskil shir hashimim asher l'shloimo bedibur maskil shoyda be'inyan kiriya shloimo oidin is bayir kai gavno gabe kriyas yamsu. Similar idea was explained. What happened when this kriyas yamsu, that shaliyesh hofach yom, in order for it to be the yam to turn around, which is shu alma diskasya, world of hidden liyabosha almadis galia, the almadis galia, to turn from the hidden world to revealed world. That to bring mamshit from a level which is higher than both, the yam, the yabosha, shom shom. Over there, the yam and yabosha are equal there. Similar to that is over here. Okay, let's leave it over here, and just get it off over here.
Have a good day. See you next